First off, I want to apologize for not making content as of late. I started working third shift and my schedule's all kinds of whack. I've been trying to regulate my sleep and yeah, it kind of sucks. But I love the job and the money's good, so I won't complain too much. But I do appreciate your patience so much. So, let's talk about my favorite Star Wars topic, Mandalorians. Let's get into some of the history, their creed, and what it may have meant for The Mandalorian Season 3. I saw a post on Instagram recently that said that although Clan Kryze, Eldar, and Vizsla were present in The Mandalorian Season 3, that only Clan Kryze's colors were represented. Then there was a comment by a viewer on my own channel that said that Bo-Katan Kryze is Dar'manda, or basically excommunicated from the Mandalorian culture due to her involvement in the plan to remove Satine Kryze from leadership in the Clone Wars animated series. Bo-Katan's own sister, if you didn't know. So we'll talk about these things, how only some of it's true, while giving explanations as to why the rest is false, and why things happen the way they did with both accounts. If you're new here or stuck in some kind of Star Wars fanatic rabbit hole, go on and subscribe to the channel. It's free and easy. I shower daily and clean my socks often. That should be worth something, right? I also know a little bit about Star Wars. Also, I've mentioned in the past, but now it's time to get to the real nitty-gritty. I will be doing members-only live stream this week, and they will be coming more regularly. Sometimes I will have other people on my channel who do not work for Lucasfilm, but are fans just like you and I. So, consider being a member. Now, on with the program. Let's start with the first topic, the clan colors represented or not represented in The Mandalorian Season 3. And this is in no way an attempt to try to get you to like the season. If you don't, cool. If you do, cool. The truth of the person's statement is that Clan Kryze's colors are represented in Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian Season 3, and particularly the Night Owls, just as they were in the Clone Wars series and Star Wars Rebels. It's also true that Clan Eldar's colors were not represented as we have seen in Star Wars Rebels. But that part is wrong. Haha, I said it was true, but it's not. Another part that was incorrect about the gentleman's statement is the part about saying Clan Vizsla colors were not represented. Well, Paz Vizsla wore their colors, particularly the colors of Death Watch, the sect of Mandalorians who had been a thorn in the side of Mandalorian leadership since the time of Jango Fett. But I'll get into that later. When we look closer, Clan Eldar's colors and sigil are very much represented in The Mandalorian Season 3. But to explain why some things are the way they are in The Mandalorian, Bo-Katan Kryze had a mindset of not caring who knew she was around stirring up trouble. She was proud to wear her colors, and she's also a bit stubborn. Not to mention, Bo-Katan was also guilt-ridden for what she had done to her family and mourned them. Bo-Katan was out making trouble for the Empire that stole her leadership and wearing her colors while doing it. Paz Vizsla kept his colors, but was also keeping it in hiding, moving from one place to another, living in caves and sewers. Ew, stinky. While not attracting attention to himself or his new organization, Children of the Watch, as long as he was careful and covert. There would be no indication that his clan had survived the purge, but after the defeat of Moff Gideon, his adopted son could continue the Vizsla tradition out in the open. But there is the issue with Clan Eldar. Wait, no real issue. They still wear the Clan Eldar's sigil and have maintained most of the colors for the rest of the armor, including the green chest armor. There were members of Clan Eldar in Star Wars Rebels who wore gray or silver chest armor, but that was likely due to personal choice, as Mandalorian armor was generally highly personalized with different colors for different meanings. On to the next topic. Hope I touched on that one enough. Oh well, let's go. Bo-Katan Kryze as Dar'manda, or excommunicated from any and all Mandalorian affairs. It's true. She should be. I won't deny that. But let's go back a bit further, back to Legends, the expanded universe. In the Jango Fett Open Seasons comics, who was the Mandalore, or the leader of the Mandalorian people? Well, it was Jaster Muriel, but the mantle was passed down to his foundling, Jango Fett, once Jaster Muriel died. Death Watch began a war with the group known as the True Mandalorians, led by Jaster Muriel and Jango Fett. I took that series and redid it in a fan fiction style to update it to recent canon. Go on and check it out, please. But then we see that Satine Kryze is the leader of the Mandalorian people, with Jango Fett made an outcast, likely due to that piece of shit Prime Minister Almec, who was actually conniving his way into his own form of leadership and part of Death Watch, or at least a sympathizer of Death Watch. So Satine Kryze became the leader of the Mandalorian people while Jango Fett was still alive and in exile, while he was still the Mandalore. So in turn, that would make Satine Kryze and Prime Minister Almec, that piece of shit, Dar'manda. Yes, I know, the expanded universe of old isn't considered canon anymore. Oh well. But there are hints of Jango Fett's leadership in the new canon. To be honest, other than Jango Fett and probably Boba Fett, if you consider him a Mandalorian, there aren't many who shouldn't be Dar'manda, at least of those trying to make a case for their own leadership, almost like the Rezulnair doesn't pertain to them. One of the commandments, or tenets, is to answer the call of your Mandalore when needed, and all this leads to Maul becoming leader of the Mandalorian people. Even Sabine Wren acknowledges him, when in fact he isn't, or rather wasn't. The Darksaber was not a divine right of leadership prior to him, only the leader of Death Watch or Clan Vizsla. If it were a divine right to lead all of Mandalore, pre-Vizsla wouldn't have had to stage a coup in hiding. It's a mess. Hopefully the Rezulnair is taken more seriously in future Mandalorian projects and side stories. But how much fun would it be if they were all harmonious? We like human drama, as humans ourselves, especially in our Star Wars shows and movies. It would be called Star Peace if there wasn't uprising, coups, hostile takeovers, and rebellions. And for me, it doesn't get any better than Mandalorian lore and history. Jedi and Sith are fine and all, and even fun to watch. But it's the people without superpowers that really catch my attention. Inventive people who find ways to make it work as warriors, just as we saw in the Andor series, seasons 1 and 2. Well, that's all I have for now. What do you think about all this? Leave a comment. I do respond to as many as I can, time permitting. And don't forget to subscribe and join the channel as a member to get into my live streams coming soon. Until the next time, may the Force be with you. Unless you smell like dirty feet, in which case, go wash your socks, then try again.